Welcome back. Welcome back to your favorite comedy finance channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. There is a ton of things going on that I need to share with you guys. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget, if you want to stay to the pulse of the market and you want fast updates from MYC, don't forget we're working now in ODAP. It's on Google devices. It's on Apple devices. All you need to do is subscribe to it. It'll support me. It'll support MYC software development, and it'll add to so many more things to what really what we want to bring to you guys. There's so many things that I still need to add to this app. Although we have completed the project, it's pretty much all set, ready to go. There's a few things that I want to add to it still, but it's a little bit out of my price range for now. But there's still a lot of things that I have that I want to get done for it. Okay, guys. So don't forget, if you guys want to keep supporting us here at MYC, make sure you download our app. It's our app, okay? It's our platform. You could find it on your Apple or your Google phone. You could find us in the App Store. It's called ODAP, ODD app, okay? If you guys haven't found me on Twitter, don't forget, MYC_ODAP, okay? So you could find me also on Twitter. It's MYC_OD_app, okay? But, before we begin, I do want to bring up a few different things today, okay? Because I feel like a lot of people have like this misconception about the way I do things, okay? And, look, this is not financial advice, okay? I'm not a financial advisor, and it's every man for himself. It's rug or be rugged. Don't ever forget, okay? Now, here's another thing, all right? I like a ton of different picks, okay, guys? I cannot talk about all the different picks all the time at the same time. I can't. We talk about over 100 picks, stocks, crypto, precious metals. We talk about politics. We talk about truth. We talk about so many different things within ODAP, okay? So, don't just leave things to me if you guys want things to be talked about, okay? There's so many different things that I'm excited about. I'm going to go over several different picks outside of the ones I hashtagged on this video stream. But I do want to touch base on a couple other things that I want to get through your heads, okay? Because no content creator or no person in the crypto space or does videos on crypto is the same person, okay? I'm not the same as other content creators. Some content creators are reporters. Some of them are traders or different types of, everyone is different, okay? Here at MYC, we've gotten to the point where we've developed our own software called ODAP. We've done tremendous things within the sector. We're very known, but at the same time, what we have here is very different than everything else, okay? This is not Teletubbies. We're not going to hold your hand. I'm not going to be nice to you all the time. I'm going to try to be nice to you, but, I'm very blunt about the things that I do, okay? So you have to understand, I do not give I do not care if I'm bullish on something 5 minutes ago. If I hear something silly, if I hear the admin or the team is doing something dumb, I'm not going to be dying in hopium. I will be out the back door, okay? I do not care if I was bullish on something 5 seconds ago. If I hear something bad or horrendous, I am out the back door, and I don't care how you feel, okay? So I want you guys to understand that I'm never going to be enslaved to any brand or any company just because I like it, just because I've bought it, okay? If I hear something that's not good, like a migration or something silly like that, I am not going to stick around and pet your ears. I don't care how you feel, okay? I care about how I feel and about what I'm going to do. So I am not enslaved to your expectations as to what I talk about, when I talk about it, or if I do not talk about something at all. I want to get that straight, okay? You don't own me and I don't own you, okay? So before we go further, okay, do not for a second let Nancy Pelosi's husband getting pegged all night distract you from the fact that she consistently has the best goddamn stock trades I've ever seen in my life. But not only that, but do not let that distract you from the fact that we just saw the director at, I think it was the company Pfizer, starting to admit that they've been altering products at the expense of human bodies for the sake of profit. Crimes against humanity still happen today. Genocide still happens today. So before we get into the bullish news and we start going into my forecast, I want you guys just to think about certain things that are happening within this country that we need to take care of or we need to start caring about, okay? Because it's actually really sad that we have so much corruption and we don't have real representatives that are representing ground level people, okay? They're so disconnected from the reality from ground level citizens that they truly cannot represent the people here in this country. So, I do feel like a lot of people need to start paying attention to what's being propagated out there or what social issues really are. Okay. And social issues to me are just giant distractions away from the real things that we need to worry about. For instance, like taxation. Taxation, not only on paper, okay, not only just, during tax season is tax a problem. Okay. It's a whole year everyday issue. Okay. I've been reading, just a couple different articles that bring up some amazing points that I've brought up before, but it's just crazy how you're consistently taxed in the US way beyond the means of efficiency. Okay. You're taxed on your income. You're taxed on things you buy. You're taxed on your property, even after you paid it. There's so many things that are happening in this scam that we live in that should be focused on, to the point where as citizens, you should be focusing and asking your representatives what they are doing to reduce government. Stop saying what they're doing to reduce taxes, because the way these Mickey Mouses work is they consistently say, no problem, we're going to reduce taxes here, but then they go and spend somewhere else. Okay. They reduce a program here or they cut a program here, but then they erect something over on this other side. Okay. Stop that shit. Stop talking about social issues. In fact, that is such a bigger distraction from the main focus of monetary policy, because if more people were educated on the monetary policies here, they would literally burn down the Capitol for how much robbery happens from this country. Because it doesn't matter if you're rich and it doesn't matter if you're poor. Okay, it really doesn't. Because inflation or let's say the cost of living is a representation of how much you're taxed. It has 4 to 6x plus in the last decade. Okay. And further, back then, for a lot of our older people out there, think about it. The dollar has consistently lost value over time. Right now, we're in a $31 trillion debt bubble set to pop. Okay. And you have to think about several different things in this type of scenario, because what happens is the bond investors, right? They are dumping their bonds because they're not seeing the yield there. First off, they already said that they were going to extend the debt ceiling patch until June. So no matter what, either way, we could make it to June because they're expanding or delaying payments to avoid default. Okay. But they're still going to need to raise or eliminate the debt ceiling in 6 months. So bond investors of bigger entities or institutions, they're looking at it from an investor standpoint, and they're seeing that they're not getting paid. They're not getting paid, and then the inflation is also eating the yield on their bonds. So it's better to dump it because the dollar is overvalued before it pops. And I understand a lot of people are consistently thinking that the next thing to pop is the market. I'm sorry, but the market already popped. And the next thing to pop, in my perspective or my opinion, is going to be the dollar. You have so many things leading to divesting dollars, it's not even funny. You have a bond market crisis, you have a currency crisis, you have a debt crisis already, okay? So, what do governments do the most to fight debt? They manipulate your currency. And by manipulating currency, they could tax you more via inflation, but they can also rise asset prices to astronomical levels to pay off massive amounts of the debt deficit at the expense of the citizens. See, that's why during wrecked economies or during recessions, like if you take a look at 2009 on the US dollar chart, you'll notice the dollar was valued at roughly 75 cents. Okay. So can you guys tell me why everybody became millionaires in the markets, or why they did so well in the markets while the economy was in shambles around that time? 2009, 2010, and just after the late 2008, there were more millionaires made than ever before while the economy was in ruins. And now we're heading towards another wrecked economy. But we're running into that same financial crisis issue where the dollar is going to plunge. Okay. Now let's go over why the dollar is going to plunge. You have inflation that supersedes the yield of bonds. So bond investors, whether retail or institution or country or governments, are dumping bonds because the dollar gives them more value than the yield. Okay. So they're dumping these bonds in order to prop up their currencies because under the weight of the dollar, their currencies are hurting. Now, I want you guys to press pause on this part. Okay. Because look, when other countries need liquidity, or when other countries need to prop up their currency, they need to dump their bonds. And the only bond that they could get with good liquidity is the basket, which is the reserve currency called the US dollar. So during the good times, they accumulate US debt. Okay. And now you're watching them divest that debt because they see that there's no yield. So, what's holding the value of the dollar up at this time and for the last year was bond investors looking for yield and looking for a safe haven. Now that the dollar has collapsed from 114 to 101 point whatever, 102, let's call it, they are going to keep divesting their bonds to prop up their currencies at the expense of the dollar. Okay. So they need to swap it, right? They swap liquidity in order to do so. But what is the states? What does America do? What does America do when everyone's dumped their bonds? Okay, because keep in mind, after they dump so many bonds or so many dollars are dumped, what happens is inflation goes higher. Then the dollar crashes, and it could crash anywhere between 30 to 40%. We've already seen a 10% decline from 114. If you pay attention to my previous forecasts that we've had in the past, I've always said that, if we go through a currency crisis, we could anticipate 30-40% decline from all-time high on the US dollar. If you think about it and you use the recession from the financial crisis in '08 and you look at the 75-cent mark, it makes perfect sense because from 114 to 75 cents is about a 40% decline. So 40% sounds like a lot, but it's not as bad from 114, which is what the US was doing. They needed to prop up their currency because they knew that it was overvalued. They knew that everyone was going to dump. So they pushed up the value, let everybody dump, and now the dollar's declining. Okay. But as they were taking in all this debt, they were buying assets. Okay. As the assets are purchased and the dollar's declining, this is going to save the debt ceiling, or this is not the debt ceiling, but this is going to be able to pay off massive amounts of the debt deficit. Now they're not going to talk about this in between everything, but as this bubble was popping, okay, and when people hear a bubble pop, they just think, oh, well, crash goes to zero. Like, no, bubbles pop over time. Nothing just goes straight down out of nowhere. I mean, we've seen it, but hardly ever does it really happen. But as the dollar is draining out, what's going to happen is we're going to go into a currency crisis. It's going to be from the bond market. It's going to be, because think about it, guys. The bond market is debt. Okay. Your dollars are debt. So if the bond market crashes, which it has been, then you're going to have a currency devaluation. If you have a debt bubble, okay, and you have a debt crisis, or you have a debt bubble pop, okay, you have a bond market pop. You see? So these are all just different ways of explaining what a dollar is, because it's a note, it's a debt note. A dollar is a debt note. If you take a look at your dollars, or if you look at your cash, you'll see that it says a Federal Reserve note. It's a debt. Okay, so we're in a debt bubble, 31 trillion. So if this debt bubble pops, you're going to see the devaluation of the USD while assets rise. Okay, so what I see now is a case for no return. Exactly the way we predicted when we talked about it in January of 2021. Okay, we said Japan was going to be probably the biggest issue. Okay, Japan kept dumping bonds, China kept dumping bonds, And Japan's becoming more and more of an issue, but it's not just a single factor. It's actually all the different central banks dumping the US dollar bonds in order to prop up their country's currency. Okay. And when enough of that happens, you see a US dollar devaluation, which is what we are seeing now. 114, now we're at 102, and it's going to continue onward as we go forward within the next 6 months. Okay. I do feel ultimately by the time this is all said and done, the dollar will be roughly 75 cents within the next 2 years or within the next year, maybe, but dollar crashes don't happen overnight. They happen over a course of a couple years. But during the course of a couple years, as the dollar declines, okay, assets are going up because the basket of currency is buying less goods and services. It's buying less assets. So you guys remember, about 6 months ago or so or whatever, I was telling you guys how much I wanted to buy because the dollar is not meant to be at 114 cents. The dollar is not meant to be at 110 cents. And I started aggressively buying more assets because they were illiquid, the prices were low, they were crashing, and I had excessive buying power to purchase those assets. And now I'm coasting right now, coasting on multipliers, unrealized, untaxed, and I'm just chilling because the more I collect during these times of high valuation on the dollar, the more it'll make sense as this debt bubble continues to pop. Okay. And this is not just crypto, guys. This is crypto, stocks, precious metals, everywhere. Okay. So, these are just certain things to think about as we head into the future because there is no going back. We are not going back to $114. We are going further down because bond investors are not going to prop up the currency of the dollar because there's no yield. Inflation supersedes the yield. Central banks are dumping dollars to protect their currencies. The US just delayed payments for 6 months. When you delay payments, what happens? You get a couple phone calls and then you default. Okay. So if the US doesn't increase the debt limit or eliminate the debt limit by June, the dollar is going to crash. Okay. However, these next 6 months, the dollar is going to continue to crash anyways because we're heading towards a default. And put it this way, if you're an investor of US debt and the US just missed their payment and they said they need 6 months, as a debtor, what are you thinking? Okay, this person's probably not going to pay me back. And then they tell you, well, not only in 6 months, but we're going to borrow more money so that way we could pay you in 6 months. So no matter what the debtor is thinking, it's I'm not going to get my money back and now I have to wait 6 months and then the person's going to elongate it by issuing more debt. Okay. So no matter what the US does at this point, this dollar is going to crash. It's going to crash over a course of time. And as the dollar is crashing over the course of time, assets are going to be going up over the course of time. See, bull cycles do not just go up and down within 15 days. For the people that want 1000x, for the people that want triple to 4-digit multipliers, and only 5% of you are going to be able to get it. Okay. 95% of people are going to fail because they're going to liquidate and lose their bottom entries at the first sight of a 1x, a 2x, a 5x, or a 10x. Okay. I'm not here for 10x. You guys have witnessed me triple digit to 4-digit X. Okay. There's a lot of people that talk, but they don't got the hands. They also don't got the results. They don't have the software. They don't got shit. Okay. I'm trying to tell you guys that water could be served to you, but that does not mean you're going to drink it. 95% of people are not going to make it. Okay. The next 6 months, like I've been telling you guys, are critical. These are critical moments in the market. The next 6 months of your life are going to determine the next 5 years. Okay. So no matter how much I say this, no matter how many times I warn you, 95% of you are going to fail. And that's sad, but I know that our strongest people are going to make it because they're going to focus and they're going to elongate their success with time. You guys are developed a different way. For those of you that have been here for a few years now or whatever, you guys are developed a different way, and we do different things and we perform differently. We're not here for an audience, okay? If we were here for an audience, I would do videos every day, okay? I'm here to succeed. I'm here to win. That's it. And I'm not here to bring a million people with me. I'm here to bring a select few. That's it. So guys, I'm trying to tell you, focus very hard, because if you could do the right thing for the next 2 years, you know, maybe 3 years. I mean, you really think about what a bull cycle is, guys. A bull cycle in the stock market, or anywhere for that matter, lasts for 8 to 10 years. Sometimes, or you could say 7 to 10 years, debatably, right? The bull market, from a macro grand scheme of things, started 2020. And yes, there'll be fractures on the way up, but in the grand scheme of things, assets are going higher while currencies are falling. And the reason why currencies are falling is because global governments are manipulating currency at the expense of the citizen. And they are going to do that no matter what. It doesn't matter how rich you are, it doesn't matter how poor you are. Your currency is being manipulated to pay off the spending of overexpansion and over government spending. They'll blame you for the debt that we have, but it's them. They are the problem. Okay. That's why I tell you guys to stop sitting there, asking politicians, especially during these times of elections and all that, to stop asking for reduced taxes. Stop arguing over stupid things, these social problems. Focus on monetary problems, and the more money that you focus on, the better things will be in the future. Because it's them that's spending. It's them that's overborrowing. Because the more they overborrowed and the more they overspent, the more that comes on to you guys in the form of cost of living, in the form of inflation. And it's not just a tax time problem. It's an everyday problem, rich or poor. Imagine if we had an extreme devaluation, 10, 20%, let's say 40%. And you're a person that has $1 million. You saved $1 million in your bank account. You worked hard for that $1 million. And now it's only worth $600,000 of buying power. Okay. You did everything right. You worked hard. You saved your money. But why are you still losing? Because you think that playing the real game, you think that playing the fair game, the good game, and the good fight is the hamster wheel, but you're still inside a cage, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You could be the most wealthiest person on the hamster wheel, but you are still within the cage. And that cage is organizing different ways to reduce your wealth in the back screen. On your bank accounts, you guys see the dollar amounts that are within your bank accounts. But these banks do not have the liquid. These banks are insolvent. What's funny about a lot of the criticism I hear for centralized exchanges, you guys tell them it needs to be 1 for 1. It needs to be 1 for 1. Man, you guys would you guys would lose your mind if you saw what the ratio was in your own bank accounts. But the reason why it works is because nobody's all going to go get their money out at once. A lot of people talk bad on Tether. Personally, I feel holding Tether in ERC20 is bad. You should be holding it in TRC20, which is Tron TRX. It has more liquidity than ETH. So you want to hold it in TRC20 if you're utilizing Tether, just to put that out there. But Tether has survived 1,000x over, 10,000x over what any of our banks would have been able to handle, withdrawing billions within 48 hours. Like, I know a lot of people saw this as FUD, but this was actually bullish because it shows the power of cryptocurrency. It shows real power. And not just for this particular stablecoin, but for other stablecoins and what their places will be in the sector, because these will be the new banks because they're more liquid. You could see everything, it's different, but again, these exchanges, they have to make money somehow, right? I think trading fees should just be what they are, instead of trying to be free and all that stuff, because when you start hearing that the exchange is free and they don't charge a fee, where's the revenue coming from? They're pulling liquidity somewhere to survive. And that's why they can't do one for one. So, what I hate about the crypto sector is we have this very hard split between a communist ideology and a capitalist ideology. We say we want everything for free, but we want to make money, right? How do you do that? You need sustainable business models. You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly, an exchange can't be free. If it's a centralized exchange, it can't be free. But we have this expectations that it should be free. I disagree. In fact, I really disagree with this entire doctrine that crypto investors have for being cheap asses. You either live by the doctrine or you don't. Okay. There's no in between. Okay. You're either a capitalist or a communist. Which one is it? And you need to live by that. And that's what it is. What's stupid also that I'm going to talk on this about is like the fact that we have so many people that sit there and they tell us whether they're an influencer or they're on Twitter or they're anywhere. They sit there and they tell us stupid shit like, I want to escape the dollar system because it's centralized and the inflation rate is over 6%. In fact, it's probably over 10%. But then there's people buying shit like Flare with crazy inflation rates, or buying Casper with crazy inflation rates. I don't care what the partnership is. I don't care how many crowds want to jump off a cliff. But if your inflation rate is 6 to 10% plus on the US dollar, and you're converting that to buy another inflationary asset 8 to 10% higher, you are going to be a loser. I'm sorry to say it, but you are a loser and you're falling into the Kool-Aid. Okay? I'm trying to tell you guys that this is not about a brand. This is about winning. I don't give a shit about any brand. They either do the right thing or they don't. And that's it. And I understand, Gomes, I understand that there are some cool things about Casper, I will say, like the partnerships and all that, and the fact that some is locked and all that nonsense. But it doesn't matter if it's locked, if they could print tokens. They need to print tokens to give a yield. So no matter what they say, their 90% could be locked and they could still be printing. And they say, oh, we're not printing just for no reason. We're printing to give a yield. Okay, well, they might have a wallet that's generating a lot of yield, bleeding out liquidity. So again, these are just little things that I think about where I'm like, we need to wake up and understand that the replication of the old system that we left behind should not be replicated over here. It should not be. I'm in DeFi. I'm in decentralized finance where no one entity controls or can manipulate the entire marketplace. That's what I want. I want scarcity. I want fixed supply. If I have to play with something that has a mechanism like inflation, deflation, it needs to be deflationary, not inflationary. I don't care what the excuse is. I don't care that you need to pay yield. I'm out, because that yield is taking away liquidity to the point where implosions do happen, and we call them cycles. And we saw the same thing happen with Cosmos. We saw the same thing happen with a lot of other stuff. It's not a matter of if they work 70% of the time. It's not a matter if they work 90% of the time. I want my 100% win. I want my 100% win. And I'm going to be very, very, very prejudiced about it, But again, do I see multipliers there? Absolutely. I see multipliers happening for Casper. Okay. I'm just trying to tell you guys to keep your doctrine correct. Okay. I think Flare was probably like a better example over Casper, since there are some sort of mechanisms to make it somewhat fair. So I'm just trying to give you guys the explanation of what I mean. Okay. But let me go through your comments real quick, and then I'll keep it rolling and stuff like that. But I'm not here, guys, I'm not trying to FUD Casper, okay? I think there'll be multipliers there. I like the partnerships. Clearly, it's a legit company and shit like that. But when it comes to winning, I want to win all the way around, okay? I don't want to have the admin win forever, and then I don't win for 3-4 years, and then the cycle's over, okay? I want to make sure that I'm winning from bottom to the top, from bear cycle to bull cycle. So I'm going to be prejudiced. I'm going to be extremely prejudiced. Okay. I'll support your tokens, and I'll support the projects you guys want to support. That's what I want. I want to have a universal standpoint, and it's agree to disagree for sure. but that's the type of lingo we should have. I want to have those types of debates without animosity. And I also want to have those that flexibility to move or move out. You see what I'm saying? And it's like I was telling you guys earlier, it's like I had some douchebag the other day. And mind you, this is what's funny. Okay. I've been talking about solo several times all this month, several times, right? But I've been talking about other companies too. And this guy tweets me. He's like, "You don't promote solo no more? What the heck?" And I'm like, "You don't own me. You don't own my voice. Okay. I'm going to talk about whatever I want, when I want. And I don't care. Look, if solo gets bad news today, it's dead to me. Okay. If Moby has bad news, it's dead to me. Okay. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to die in hopium. I will wish you the best, but I want 100%. I want 100% all the time. So, again, do not think for a second that I'm somebody that's going to be enslaved to something I called good news or bad news. If I hear stupid shit, I'm out the back door, period. That is exactly the way it's going to be. And maybe your friends, maybe your family, or maybe the people you watch will never talk to you like the way I talk to you, but it's real. This is real shit, because this is not the same type of channel that you watch anywhere else. I hope you guys actually understand or see that by now. For some of you that are new, sorry, you found Adult Swim of the crypto sector. Jake says, an early stream. Thanks, Dion. Gomes says, yo, MYC OTF, let's go. Yeah, absolutely. Be Like Water says, yo, let's go. Absolutely. Low Wank says, hey, peeps, legions, that ABT gave me insight and what to expect 2 to 3 years. That's what I like about what's going on now. Like, we've been collecting these bottoms, and who cares what the price performance is today? Because 6 months ago, we didn't have the crowds we have today. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, these plays are not dead. We're just in a bear market. It's the same thing when people brought up BLZ one time to me. I was like, BLZ is not a dead play. That's a real company, and it's going to emerge. That is GameFi. There's 3 things I'm worried about: DID, Web3, and GameFi. I picked Bluezil for GameFi. That is Cosmos. It's running on Cosmos. Do I like Cosmos that much? No, but I like Bluezil. I like Bluezil because it's a 500 million coin cap. It's super cheap. GameFi, and Pavel is not a Mickey Mouse character. He's worked for Nintendo. He did M&A on VR chat. He did payment protocols for Ripple. There's so many different things about that company I like, and it's going to be a play. So I like it. But again, some people, they sit there and be like, oh, that pick is dead now. But I'm like, how? How is it dead? How was it ever dead? During the bear cycle, during 2022, when everybody got wrecked in Luna, when everybody got wrecked in Cosmos and locked into their stakes, we did 4 2Xs, 2 3X with Bluezil from January to June, while everybody was getting wrecked 95%. Okay. And after that, we did 5X on VGX. So, and then in August, we found Arc Block. That was a 3X. Now we just got through doing another 1X. And guys, these calls eventually, you're going to see some swings here or there, during the bear cycle. But the crowds from 6 months ago are not the crowds we have today. And for you to base performance or base awareness on somebody doing a video or somebody talking about it, guys, you have no idea that nobody can move these markets. It literally does not matter. Okay. It's about the crowds entering into crypto. We just broke 1T, and the markets have been barren. All last year, we had barely anybody in the markets. Now people are trickling in from halfway last year. People were trickling in, and now people are trickling in. But the crowds and the performance and the prices of crypto assets, this is just in general, the prices of crypto assets today are based and predicated off the crowds of today. And I'm buying all I can from the crowds from today and last year, because the crowds that are coming in 2025 will be 100x larger than the crowds we have today, which will merit way higher prices. So again, instead of viewing performance on a pick based on today, is so silly. it's really foolish. And that's why I tell you guys, is like have a futuristic mentality when you're doing these things. There's no guarantee or promise on anything, and I get that part, but like you still have to have a futuristic viewpoint on whatever you're trying to buy, or whatever you're investing in. These are certain things that you have to think about. You can't sit there and get discouraged based on 2022's performance or this year's performance, because consideration is a financial term for profit realization. It's or a form of considering margin. Consideration from a financial term, okay? Consideration is not this year. It wasn't last year for sure. It's not going to be next year, okay? Consideration is going to take place in the bull cycle, and we're not there. Are we in the beginning of it? Yeah, absolutely. But the peaks are nowhere near us. So it's like, just because, for instance, like I was talking to you guys earlier, I'm sitting on 2x and a couple 3x's, a couple other 2x's, stuff like that. Am I going to take the profit now? No, because I don't want to get taxed. There's no point to take margin right now when I'm at least 2 years away from anything. So I want my triple to 4-digit multipliers, and I'm going to get them. And that's it, because I'm not going to wait 5 cycles to fucking retire. I'm going to wait 2 or 1 or whatever. There's a big difference in what you're doing. The key for everybody, or the dream for everybody, is to make enough money where they're well off and enough money to leave in the market to let it grow. Okay. That is ultimately the goal. So I'm going to play it smart, and I do not want to take profits on a small multiplier and lose my bottom entry. Because, for instance, okay, ARC block at first entry was 9 cents. Okay. So now you have a 10x for every dollar it goes up. Okay. 100 million market cap on ARC block is already $1. Okay. Clearly it's not designed to be cheap. Okay. And who cares what the crowds could do to push up the price today? The crowds today are worthless compared to what they will be in years to come. So I don't care. So again, I'm sitting on a bunch of multipliers, but I'm not going to touch anything because it's not worth it to touch. Because, for instance, like I said, ARC block at 9 cents, first entry. Now we're looking at 10x per dollar. If I was a stupid ass and I sold at 20 cents and I got my 1x, and now the dust settles at 16 cents. Now my multipliers just change from 10x to $1 to now 6x to $1. And then if I start buying at 20 cents, or let's say I liquidate and then I get back in and I get back in at 20 cents or 25 cents, now my multipliers went from 10x to 5x to 4x and then so forth. So this is how fast, literally 5 cents, literally a 5 cent or 10-cent gain on some of these entries, some of these positions will literally rob you of half your multiplier potential. And for what? You're going to be here for the next couple of years. So what are you doing? See what I'm saying? So, I'm trying to tell you guys, not everybody is going to make it. 95% of you are going to fail. There's only going to be a select few that are going to get 3 to 4-digit multipliers because they know how to hold. Okay. I know my whales do. I know we do. But there is going to be 95% of you that do not know what you're doing. You're going to pretend like you know what you're doing, and then you're going to be here for another 5 cycles. So guys, again, focus on the bigger picture than the smaller picture. I know a lot of you are, but just speaking from my perspective, I'm sitting on multipliers everywhere. And now the bottom is in. If Bitcoin went up, no matter what it does from here, as far as I'm concerned, if it goes up to 23, if it goes up to 25 and crashes back to 15, or crashes down to 18, or crashes down to 21, whether Bitcoin is pumping up or pumping down, the bleed over, the spillover is going into the alts. So as an altcoin investor, I don't care, because the dominance that I was buying alts at was 30 to 40%. So it literally does not matter as an alt investor, from my personal opinion, what happens with Bitcoin at this point, because whether it pumps or it bleeds, alts are going to be the very bottom right now. And I'm going to be able to gather a lot of that interest from the bleed out or the pump off of that Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter to me. So that's why I'm telling you guys, we're already past the hard part now. If Bitcoin goes up further and then crashes down, let's say back to 16K, That's a lot of bleed out. That's a lot of money. Where's that money going to go? Is it going to go in cash? No, it's going to go back into the markets somewhere because people see the opportunity that's happening already. They see the bottoms, they see everything. Guys, for some of you guys have been here for 3 cycles or 2 cycles or whatever, clearly you see what I'm seeing. So again, a lot of people are going to be misled on, what expectations should be, but that's my time frame. I want years to come, and like I've never been less stressed now because all the bottoms that I bought are now at a 1x, and they're just chilling. And I'm watching my multiplier go from 150% to 200% or 120% to 160%, and it's fluctuating. But I'm in just like at this point holding, and then in 2 years, the people doing shorts and jumping around they could do that all fucking day, and I'll be right underneath, chilling, hanging out, owning the bottoms, and nothing will even matter at this point. Zero. It literally doesn't matter at that point because once you get into an entry and the market starts to fill up over the top of it, and let's say you're 3, 4x or 5x above, you're at zero risk, and now you're just chilling. All you gotta do is just watch time go by. And that's why I tell people to stop chasing around. Like, you're not an expert for knowing a bunch of different picks and then chasing what the next influencer is talking about based on their audience numbers. That's why you guys suck. And that's why you guys are still here. If you want real results, you want to create real products or real services and step from the baby trader to developer to admin to the next level in the digital economy, you got to go through these steps. But how fast you go through those steps is predicated off of what you think an expert really is. And knowing picks and knowing your favorite influencers or whatever the hell you want to call them is not going to get you there. Yeah, maybe it'll get you started, but you need to evolve out of that mentality of a fish just following wherever the crowds are going, because that's why you're typically wrecked. You have to be in things before they happen. You got to be in things before it's interesting, before people are excited about it, before everybody is talking about it. 6 months ago, nobody wanted to talk about ArcBlock. Now look at everybody who wants to talk about ArcBlock. Imagine what it'll be in 2 more years. There's a bunch of people building on ArcBlock now. There you have Byte Storage is now the IPFS for ArcBlock, and it's literally on DID wallet. So now you have another company there. I saw a bunch of other companies and also entrepreneurs starting their own websites and doing all these different things. Like, a lot of people don't realize it because they're not just downloading one piece of an app and then going into it. But you guys, I don't know if you noticed, but ArcBlock has dominating niche services or products that are everywhere within its platform. For instance, when you're creating your own website, it gives you your own domain. If you want to customize a name, then you could get it from Google or get it from somewhere else and then lace it over the link. But the link is running on Web3. The link is running on ArcBlock. Do you notice it? No. It works just like a Web2 company, but you don't realize that you're decentralized. Okay? But that's the point. You want it to be seamless. But if you take a look at what it is, you actually have a MySpace sort of format ability on ArcBlock, where people could decorate their page however they want it and have all the different directing traffic sites or links and all that other stuff. You could put videos on it. You could stream videos on it. Like, literally, ArcBlock literally just reinvented almost like a Web3 MySpace type of blogging type of format, and it's there to use at any time. So unless you're paying attention, you won't realize it, but that's pretty badass. I like how ArcBlock is definitely getting the attention it deserves now. And Robert did say that he wanted to market actively all 2023 and beyond now that they're ready to go. I don't know if you guys watched the last interview, but during that interview, he admits that they're actively involved with W3C and CERN for the last decades. So, there's so much more to just exploring, or, if you're doing your research on ArcBlock, don't let your research end at the ArcBlock website. Look up Cascadia Blockchain Console. Look up Trust over IP. Look at W3C and DID. Like, there's more to researching a company than just the business website. Okay, is my point. Another pick that I want to bring up is LCX. LCX, we did a 3x. Some people did 2x. It just depends on your entry, but 3 cent 3 cents and change was the bottom on that. But how does it feel, guys? Look, for those of you that got to get in on that, okay? And again, look, guys, if you want to stick updated to the pulse of the market and hear live what we're talking about or whatever, we talk about over 100 picks, stocks, crypto, geopolitics, truth, so many different things. But if you want to be updated or you want to actively be among us, download ODApp. It's on Google and Apple phones. It's a 23 USD a month subscription. It's full access. And that's how you're going to support me now. You don't need to go to Patreon. You don't need to go to OnlyFans. You don't need Discord. You don't need anything. You download MYC's app, ODApp, and it's on every app. It's on every app store, whether you have a Google phone, a tablet, or an Android or a iPad or Apple device. Okay. So I don't know who else has done that in this space, guys. This is what I'm talking to you about. Like a lot of our members, and I consistently talk to you guys, investing or building yourself up does not begin or end with crypto. There's so much more that you could get done. There's so many other things that you could build out of this. And that's what we want. We want people to, yeah, have that investor mindset, but have an administrator mindset, have a developer's mindset as well, because I believe whatever you are today, you could be 10x that tomorrow. Okay. Not saying it's going to happen overnight, clearly, but you should have a bigger expansion to what you want out of your life, and we want to just make sure that you stay within that ideology, because when people, when they're watching YouTube or they're watching these other different videos or whatever, you're only getting wowed or reviewed or, the review of the pick or, whatever, but we're a community. Okay. That's why I run this channel way different. We're a community. And we have all different types of picks and all that stuff. A lot of people sit there and they think whatever I talk about is what everyone is buying. But like literally, I review probably over 20 to 30 different picks every single day between different or multiple members of our community. And they review whatever they like to bring up or whatever. And that's perfectly fine with me. I'm always going to be honest about what I think or what I like or, what I dislike or whatever, even if I like the company, there's things that I like about company or like there's picks that I like or I have that, maybe I don't like something about this or, I don't really think it'll be as scalable or, whatever the case. And I'll be honest about how I feel on that. And again, this is all opinionated, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we want. We want to make sure that people have a different experience with MYC versus other people. And that's why I hate this expectation that I get from people that don't know me or they don't know MYC, that, they see, like that guy, I've talked about solo all month this month. I support the community. I support the project. I like it as long as it stays on the XRPL. I still don't think core should have ever been made 1, 2, or 3, but, still at the end of the day, I support them and, I hope the best for all of them or whatever. But, again, I've been talking about it and this guy was like, oh, Dan, how come you didn't talk about it? I'm like, first of all, you don't own me, bro. Like, I will talk about what I don't give a shit about any of you when it comes to what I should talk about. I will talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And that's it, but again, you guys bring up all sorts of different stuff and I talk about it, you know what I mean? But again, like when it comes to viewers thinking that they can control what I want to do, that's where it's like, you're gone. Okay. I don't want to have that. That's not what we're doing here. Okay. Let's keep rolling. The ABT gave me an insight to what to expect in 2, 3. Yeah. Well, that's my point, guys. Look, if you're sitting on multipliers right now, okay, a lot of you, your entries are 1 or 2x underneath whatever the entry was 6 months ago. Okay. So now that we're 1, 2, 3x above calls and we're watching the market fill up, doesn't that feel good? Doesn't it feel good not to be one of the yo-yos around the entire? You guys are literally living about 5% of the lifestyle that the entire sector is experiencing, because 95% are still scared. 95% don't have multipliers. 95% are still sitting on their hands or they're not doing anything. But we took action and now we're sitting on multipliers while this market gets filled up. How great does that feel to be 5% of the communities out there? How great does that feel? And it'll be greater as we go 2, 3 years. Imagine if you're sitting on a 30x or 50x and still watching this market fill up over the next couple of years or whatever the case. So again, guys, protect your entry. That's your life. Your entry, your multipliers, that's your life right there. Okay. If you guys, from a 10 to 20 cent entry to $1, you change your multipliers 100%. So multipliers are life altering things, okay? Life altering equations. So protect those with your life, okay? I'm telling you guys, don't be these silly asses that think they're smart because they're going to be smart one day. I got my 2x, I got my 2x, and it retraced 5 cents. Yeah. And then it's going to keep going. And then it's over. You're never going to get it back. So that's what I'm telling you guys. Like, these next 6 months are going to be so imperative to your success. It's not even funny. Let's keep rolling. Daniel says, legend, baby. Brian the Nickel says, how do I know the market is about to blow past Uranus? Dion is liquidating metals. I could feel it. I think he's correct. Core Marshall says, hey, bro, just try to guess how I feel sitting on 100K ABT and 150K LCX. Absolutely. Absolutely. And those are not going to be dollar coins, in my opinion. They're going to be well above that, you know? And not selling a single coin feels good, bro. So good. I wake up every day as happy as hell. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, for those of us that got in on LCX like 3-4 cents, how does it feel that it's not going back down there? It's going to keep going up. So like the fact that you get to sit on that type of margin and you're just chilling, guys, 95% of plebs do not live like me and you. They live in this other nonsense that they think, you know, is expert, you know. But again, we have different results. And yeah, you know, guys, look, you know, again, I don't do it for the audiences. It's like, yeah, we have an audience now, we have a community, and we've, you know, and I've tried to slow down that growth as much as I can. But that's what I want. I want niche. I want small niche, you know, because that's what it takes. You know, you don't want, you know, some people want, you know, fame, I guess. I don't. I'm out. Um, I'm completely out on that, to be honest with you. But you know, uh, I will try to keep it at bay as much as possible. Legion says, you will thank yourself for holding long term. Absolutely. Bro, I'm thanking Dion every day for my portfolio. 2 years ago, I didn't have any clue. I found myself buying BTC and ADA. I'm sorry to hear that. After listening to this guy, my portfolio changed for good. I'm deep in a freaking bear market and already in profits big time. Guys, that's what I'm saying. We're in a bear market. We're in a bear market. And we're sitting on multipliers. It is entirely over. So imagine in a couple years from now. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm just not tired of fucking winning ever. I am just not tired of winning because you guys saw what ABT just did. ABT did a 1x and it's stabilizing at the 16 cent mark. And what's funny about, like, okay, so I know a lot of people in the solo community, they like a lot of the stuff that we like and stuff like that. They're, you know, they're typically smart, typically. And I like the fact that, you know, a lot of them realize the opportunity that Arc Block is, because you got to think about it. You know, when Solo went to $7, okay, it was because half of the supply was locked. Solo had 400 million of a coin cap, okay, and 200 million were locked. So there was only 200 million available, and it scaled to $7 within 4 months or something like that. And now we have something more futuristic, that's blockchain 3.0 programmability. Okay, you have Bitcoin 1.0, ETH is 2.0 for programmability, and Arc Block is 3.0 programmability. And it's a 186 million coin cap. Yeah, it's going to be explosive. It's going to be explosive. And I can't wait to see what happens. I mean, we could go to zero by tomorrow. Who knows? But I'm very confident in, you know, the performance that we have seen. And, you know, besides this pick, I mean, to be in our other picks and already be at multipliers and we're coasting, that's good, because now stacking doesn't hurt as much, you know? I mean, what I've been doing is, like, I don't trade. I just been adding fresh money, but BLZ has got me pretty interested again. 6-7 cents was definitely a bottom. And I also like PRQ. PRQ, we were getting at 8 cents. It's already up to 11 cents. I already did a 1x, but it retraced. And that's also a small cap too. Sorry, I just wanted to do that. Sometimes I get so bullish, you know. But, you know, again, these are other caps that are very good companies. And I know a lot of people think, like, and again, look, a lot of people think that, oh, because it's a small cap, it's scarier. It's like, no, it's about your entry. You know, it's about entries. Like, If you're in a small cap, entry is good up to $1, you know? If you're taking a look at a small cap or something like that, you know, they trade typically in the dollars, you know? So if you're getting it for the cents, that's very bullish, you know? You're getting it under $1, that's very bullish, you know? If it's a large cap, I don't want to buy a large cap for 40 cents. I'm not buying a large cap for 50 cents. That's stupid. You know, I would buy a large cap in the decimals. That makes sense to me. If it's a billion coin cap, okay, I want 10 cents or less, you know, and I want to have a 10x per dollar at least. You know, if it gets higher than that, it becomes a little bit more gray for me. But it depends on entry. So if it's a large cap, decimalize, you know, as close to the decimals as possible. If it's a small cap, you know, you want in the pennies, you know. If it's micro, then maybe $1 might be okay, but like it just depends on the pick. It depends on the entry, depends on circulation, depends the way the token was launched. There's so many different things. Like a lot of people think that tokenomics or tokenomics simply because oh it's a large cap and it's a small cap. Well now I know everything. Like no you don't. You literally are lost. So again, you have to pay attention to more things than just whether it's a large or a small cap. There's so much more that you need to know. Like the circulation is a big deal. You know, for instance, I like to use XRP as an example on this. A lot of people keep wondering why XRP has not hit $4 again. Well, because the compression was different. At that time, when it hit $4, the compression of the circulation was way different than it is now. Now there's more tokens in circulation, so the scalability will not meet the same criteria. That's why you guys have continuously had smaller cycles because it's taking more and more liquidity to compress how many tokens are in circulation. So that's why you're not getting those big ramps up like before. It takes a lot more liquidity and it's going to take even more this cycle. So this coming cycle, you know, I mean, I doubt I mean, we'll see if it really does. I really doubt. I feel like it'll be less than last cycle. But we'll see what happens, you know, ultimately, you know. But again, this is why you know, for it being a layer one, you want to utilize it. You want to utilize the utility of it by swapping into a DeFi project that can get you the multipliers that you need. There's different things that you got to do. Another good example of this would be, I think ALBT. ALBT Alliance Block is a good company. It has good partnerships, very cool, you know. But again, a lot of people they're basing the performance on last cycle. So I had a couple people like, look where it went last cycle, or look at the last ATH. It's going to do better. Like, no, that's not the way it works. Okay, the reason why it scaled that high was because circulation was not the same as today. Circulation is more. So because the circulation is more, it's not going to scale as fast, and it'll take more capital to do so. So it's not going to get there. Same thing with Solo. Solo right now, unless they get a license, then you know, yeah, we could see something parabolic. But without no license, still you have 400 million in circulation versus 200 million in circulation. Okay, so you know, instead of thinking of 18 USD with a license and all this other stuff, let's just pretend it takes a long time to get there. Let's whatever. Let's just take a look at the same performance, but same circulation, same tokenomics. Okay. At best, maybe 350, something like that, 250, 350, maybe, and that just depends on how strong the community is, how much it grows. It depends on what developments happen between it. There's so many different variables, it could go to zero by tonight, but again, these are certain things that you guys got to think about. I'm just using these picks as an example. This is not to tell you that this is what's going to happen for that particular coin or whatever, but these are just certain things that you need to attribute or certain things that you need to plug into your strategy so that we have an idea of where you're at instead of just being an expert and looking at the last ATH and being like, oh, the last ATH was $7. That means it's going to go, it just depends. There's different variables that you have to take into consideration. So don't forget about that part. Let's keep rolling. Course Marshall says, F the fudders, Dion is king of the space. I'm definitely not kidding. I'm telling you. I have the throne. MYCOTF says, hit that goddamn like button, guys. He doesn't even have commercials on. That's right, guys. Look, don't forget. Look, for years, we do not have commercials, guys. We do not have commercials here. I do videos every once in a while. I make them long as shit. So that way you guys could just continuously come back until you finish it. But don't forget, I don't put commercials on. If you want to support me, you want to support MYC, sign up to OddApp, okay? You don't even got to use it. If you want to support us now, you don't need Patreon, you don't need OnlyFans, you don't need Discord, NFTs, and all this other stuff that leaves you vulnerable to get your stuff stolen, okay? OddApp is a one-stop shop You could download it on Google or Apple App Store, and you could subscribe to OddApp, and then you could be with us every day, and you'll talk to me personally every day. I'm there every day. That's where I work. When we first started, we started out on YouTube, and then we went to Discord, and then after that, we developed our own platform to work on, and now we're working on OddApp, and then I'm going to develop that into much more much more than I anticipate. I'm sure. I know we get very creative. So, but again, if you want to support us, guys, download OddApp and become a subscriber. It's 23 USD a month, and it's full access. Okay, and you see, here's another thing too. So, a lot of people back in the day, guys, and I don't know if a lot of you remember this, but we had a lot of shrimp back in the day that we had to turn away because they couldn't afford us. Okay. And now they can. Now people can't. Now MYC is a lot more affordable. It's a lot more accessible for a lot of people on a bigger international scale. So I do anticipate, and you guys have seen it too, MYC community is exponentially growing now. And it's growing easier that now you don't need to worry about, oh, I got to download Discord and I got to download Patreon. I got to download Twitter and this and that. Like now you could just download OddApp because that's our platform. Okay. So don't forget that. Fancy Pants says, in California, I dislike the tax fund that was allocated for fixing roads, went into generic account to be picked at for other uses. Yeah, they typically do that. They tell you that it's for research purposes, or they say, oh, we want to do this. We want to do this construction project or whatever. And then the first year, 2 years is funding for research on it, and then they go to the next step. And then that research concludes that the road won't work. We got to do, something smaller, Legion says 2 years ago, I was looking into XRP and was following MSM picks like a drone. I didn't understand market cap or max supply. I was the definition of a sheep. Today, I'm the one teaching others how to think. Absolutely, Legions. That's the way to be, man. We want to continue elevating ourselves. And we want to be different from what people see out there. That's really the key point, because look, guys, I don't care about, whatever brand. Okay. Like, I want to make sure things are done nice, that they're done right. I want to make sure I win. And unfortunately, guys, look, and look, this is a hard truth that a lot of you got to swallow. Okay. And OddApp, if you go to MYCNetwork.io, you could see what I tell you. On MYCNetwork.io, the first thing I tell you is OddApp is a place where a community of admins, we have different admins from different projects there. Okay. We also, Robert Mao is one of them. Okay. We have Justin from Byte Storage. There's a lot of different people there, but you have admins from different projects there. You have different developers there from different projects or different ecosystems. Okay. And then you have different investors, and you have me and all these other different types of people. All these people, because of their career or based on their interest, okay, an admin interest, a developer's interest, and an investor's interest. There are 3 different viewpoints. Okay. And there are conflicts of interest because an admin needs the funding. He needs certain things to get things done, to build out what he wants to build out. There's so many things that he needs to get done. So his interests are going to be in conflict of the investor. The investor says, yeah, I want to make money or whatever. I believe in you. I want you to do well, whatever, but I need to make some money, and that's the way a lot of people think. And, unfortunately, these interests, maybe they're the same in some sort of relative matter, but again, these are still conflicting interests because this guy needs money, this guy needs money, and so there has to be a happy medium. Though there is a way to have a happy medium if things are done correctly. Is there a perfect system yet? No, but I do believe the more that we understand each other, the better we could do as communities, and the better our crypto sector could be as a whole. Okay, because an investor, a developer, and an admin all have different interests. Okay, my interest is just to win. That's it. So, if I'm going to win, everything needs to make sense because, let's say if an admin missteps or admin does, dumb stuff, or he makes a mistake, or, people are human, because I tell people this all the time. It's like, projects are startup companies. Okay. And if you're in the crypto sector, or even if you're doing a regular LLC, startup companies, 95% of them fail. Okay. 95% of business owners fail at creating their business to be sustainable. Okay. So, and knowing this, you have to understand that this is no different than the crypto sector. A lot of the things that you're investing in, there is a 95% chance they're going to fail. Okay. So they're called projects and they're called startups. And startups, they cost a lot of money, they cost a lot of time, they cost a lot of dedication and commitment. We have to respect these admins for being brave enough, to having enough courage to try. Okay. However, at the same time, if you're an investor, you have to understand that when you're investing in startup companies, you're a venture capitalist. And the first thing you need to understand about being a venture capitalist is 99% of the risk are yours. So if you can't handle that, then you shouldn't be in the space. You have to get past those ugly truths in order to understand and to make your decisions as best that you can. Okay. So there's that. A developer has a different perspective too. So the admin, he needs funding, he needs to build, he's doing all these things. So this admin will typically not like investors or traders talking about how they want to pump the coin, or talking about taking profits, or talking about all these different things, because it's hurting or preventing him from doing what they need to do to keep building, or it's elongating the time. There's certain things that that person is thinking that's in conflict of interest of the investor. Okay. And it's not to say that they're enemies. It's just the order of things. Okay. So the admin has the interest, and then the investor has the interest. Admin also has other responsibilities. The admin also needs to divest tokens into circulation in order to create healthy compression. If the admin starts putting too many tokens into circulation, he could dilute the supplier, dilute the liquidity. If they don't put enough, okay, if they don't decentralize or they don't put enough tokens into circulation, then 10% or 20% of that marketplace can actually build extreme compression that has nothing to do with the actual tokenomics of the cap. So for instance, if something is like, let's say 100, let's say something is 1 million market cap, or 1 million coins plus, and the admin only puts into circulation 200,000. Now 200,000 tokens are going to determine, and if let's say he keeps it there, that tokenomics is structured off that 200,000, not the 1 million, and that's unhealthy for scalability from both the admin and also the investor. So the admin actually has to protect somewhat, or they have to create the healthiest marketplace as possible at the same time trying to get tokens into circulation for decentralization. Developers, they typically just want to build something, or they want to build a product or a service and all that. Admin and developers are very much kind of like the same, in a way. But interests can be different, because an admin could have an overall vision for what they want to create, but the developer is also building his own stuff, and the developers also could go different ways or sprout or do more to the ecosystem. So the admin could build the base or build the platform, and then the developers could also build around that platform to create it into a better entity, or whatever the case. Investors, the investors, if they don't understand this, they're only going to think, oh, I heard this is a good pick, and this is that. You have to understand where these people are in the process of building this project, because a project's an idea. It's just a pitch. It's an idea. It's not real yet. It's an if, you see. So that's why, as an investor, you have to realize where the admin is and where the developers are in the process of their entrepreneurship. You have to see, where they are as a business. Okay. Are they at the very beginning of it? Did they just pitch the idea? And this is kind of why, I typically wait at least 3 years to touch anything. If it came out yesterday, like when people brought up Aptos to me, I didn't want to touch it, because it's, I don't care if I see 1x, 2x, 3, I don't care. I'm not going to give you money. I'm going to wait 3 years. I want to see you perform for 3 years. I want to see you do something for 3 years. I want to see commitment. Okay. And for instance, let's use Core as an example. Core was minted for a year ago, and within 1 year, they've already created 2 more extra coins that are going to represent this coin. Okay, one's like an IOU for this third coin that'll be launched in Cosmos, whatever. But again, within 1 year, you just had 2 coins minted. So if I would have kept to my structured base of holding or making sure, hey, cool project, I'm not going to touch it for 3 years. That 3 years standardized saved me from having to buy something that was going to be replaced twice within 1 year. So that's why I make sure that whenever I'm touching anything, entry, there's so many variables that you need to consider, but this is just another idealism to add to your arsenal here. When I'm looking at something, I say, well, how long has it been around? It's only been around for 3 months. It's only been around for 6 months. It's only been around for a year. If it's been around for only a year, year and a half, what has been produced with that year? What's been done? Has anything been created? Is there a product? Is there a service? Like there's so many different things you guys got to take a look at from a business model perspective, and not just a brand or hype or influencers talking about it. Like you need to see it as a business model. So, you need to take a look at things a little bit differently. That way you could, I mean, clearly guys, you're not going to mitigate 100% of your risk. There's always going to be risk, but certain things could help you mitigate those risks to a lower percentage. But again, guys, look, I don't have commercials. Don't forget to like this video for me and share it around on Twitter or whatever the case. Okay. Ace Killjoy says, guys, hit that like button. Cora Marshall says, we need to start in order to improve. Now we are here, swimming in profits with a better understanding of the space. Absolutely. A lot of people tell me, Dion, I'm never going to look at the crypto space the same ever again after being with you guys, and that's what we do. We want to make sure that we shatter these false expectations. We want to make sure that we give you kind of like an uglier truth about things, because a lot of, guys, you're investing in startup companies. When you invest in crypto startup companies, which all of them are, including Ripple. Okay. There's unicorn startup companies, 95% could still fail. Ripple could still fail. Even at this time, Ripple could still fail. So, you have to think about things like this and understand what you are. You have to understand what you are and what you have power over. And if you're investing in the crypto sector or any company for that matter, whether it's stocks or whatever, you have to think about that. It's like, how successful is this going to be? Can it be successful? 95% are going to fail. So the future will be bright for those who understand how it works. Yeah, absolutely. Explore More says, Yellow with Cello. Dion is right about Flare being a dumbass scam coin. What up, Dion? Yeah, absolutely, bro. Explore More, what's up? Gom says, Casper CSPR, inflation is legit as interest rate is more than inflation rate. You were wrong about Casper. Interest rate has to be greater than inflation. Disagree to disagree. Okay, so I agree with you on your sentiment on that, because the inflation rate is lower than what the yield is. However, my point was we're already in an inflationary system. So if you're getting paid today in US dollars, and you have a 6% inflation rate on your US dollar buying power. Okay, so you've already taken a loss there, and then you go and buy another coin that has an inflation rate. So that compounds on a loss. So, and again, this depends on performance over time and stuff like that. But again, like this is kind of my mentality. I'm like, I'm already in an inflationary asset called the US dollar. I'm not going to convert my inflationary dollar into another inflationary coin. I want to convert my inflationary asset US dollar into a deflationary or fixed supply, so that way it's hedged and or it goes up in value based on the depreciation of the dollar. Because if the dollar is already inside of an inflationary environment, that means the dollar is going down in value. So I want to hedge it into a fixed supply or somewhere that is deflationary, where the token supply burns. So, I want to make sure that I'm utilizing that monetary idealism to target the right picks too. And not to say that Casper won't be successful. I think it will be, but again, it's all about the mechanisms and the structure. Like, is Casper a good pick? Yeah, I believe so. But, for how prejudiced I am when it comes to what I like, then that's kind of, I start, for me, what's weird is like, I want to think about all the things I don't like about something first, and then kind of go further, but again, I do think that it'll do well. I mean, it's clearly heavily backed. It has VC support, good partners, IBM, stuff like that, and then also with staking, it could make sense, I just, when it comes to when it comes to VCs and the way they do things, I'm just always like, but it could still be good. It's like Aptos, right? Aptos, I don't like the structure of it, but multipliers happened. But I still don't like the structure of the way it is. It's just, there's just different things. But yes, agree to disagree. But Gomes is actually one of our subscribers on OddApp, like a lot of you guys. But again, this is kind of the conversations we should have. We should have, these types of dialogue, stuff like that. But I mean, clearly I have way more good things to say about it than bad things, as you can see. Walter says the tokenized asset market is estimated at $16 trillion. Solo only needs a tiny fraction of that market to be a triple digit coin. Yeah, absolutely. And another thing to consider is, I do believe that more than one company is going to sell tokenized stocks. Tokenization of stocks could be done by a variety of different companies from a variety of different ecosystems. And to think only one is going to get it is silly, because that's like saying, E-Trade, JP Morgan, Raymond James, they're, like they can't sell stocks, but this person can, like that's not the way it's going to work. So I'm actually, I do feel confident that Solo will eventually get that license, just based on, the fact that like eventually stocks will be tokenized. So I do think Solo has the build, it has everything there ready to go. So that's good. And then also LCX. LCX is regulated, is compliant. I think LCX is actually closer to tokenizing stocks and closer to getting a license than Solo. But again, look, who cares if you're taking a look at the tokenomics, right? So, these are just certain things I think about. LCX has a 950 million coin cap, and then you have Solo with a 400 million coin cap, fully decentralized, which is what I really like there. I haven't looked at circulation on LCX in a while. Let me just kind of take a quick gander at it. I've always liked LCX. So LCX, the circulation is roughly 800 million. So like, that's not that bad. It's already fully decentralized. So that's good. And a very small fraction of that is being held by the admin. So this is really good for the community, because now the community of token holders would benefit more than the admin. And that's kind of what you want. You want a decentralized marketplace where everybody wins, not just the admin. And that's kind of why my ideology is so bent on decentralized marketplaces. I want to make sure that, yeah, I want the admin to win. Trust me. Like, guys, look, I want people to make money. And this is just me speaking on a general term of things. Like, I want people to do well. And I think if admin has the courage to try, and I think that if somebody wants to create something and be an entrepreneur, I admire that. I respect that. And I want them to do well, and I want them to make money. I want them to make products and services to sell. That's the capitalist in me. I want you to do those things. That's what you should do. We should be producers, not consumers, right? And that's good. But on the other side of things, I also want to make sure that's a decentralized marketplace, so that way the community wins, because the community does more work than the admin. Okay. The admin could do 100x type of work to get to the base layer. They build the platform. But after that, that's when the community needs to pick up the tab, where the community needs to get the tokens, and then they start building on top of it, or they start marketing it, or they start talking about it, or whatever the case. So again, this is a big synergy between the community for all different things. So that's why I tell you guys, is like, decentralization is so important to me, because if I'm supporting this ecosystem, I want to win too. I want him to win, and I want me to win, and that's a fair deal to me. That's why I think decentralized marketplaces are fair, because it's not one person winning over everybody else, and that's the point of DeFi, by the way. Walter says, "Do you still expect a crash? The community is divided." No, I don't think so. And even let's say even if Bitcoin were to fracture, it doesn't matter, because at dominance level, 6 months ago, we were at, I think, 35% or something like that, or 32. I forget. We were in the 30% of dominance, and we were buying the bottoms. Now we're at almost 40% dominance. So no matter what, even if it goes up a little bit and bleeds out, goes up a little bit, goes 16K, 18K, 21K, it don't matter at this point, because that money has to go somewhere. So because Bitcoin already pumped that big pump, its bleed out is going to go into the alts anyways. So like, we're done. It's over. So, I really don't care what happens to Bitcoin at this point. If we get a deep fracture, I'm just going to continue buying more, because I'm already like, the whole goal is to buy a bottom and make sure that the market supersedes over that entry furthermore for years to come. Because once you get to that point, you're at infinity. You see, you don't have to worry about it as much, because you're at a zero risk, And of course, you don't want to reduce yourself by 1x, 2x, or anything like that. The only people that are going to get triple or 4-digit X's, those are people that are going to be able to hold a bottom from today or 6 months ago for the next couple years or whatever. Those are going to be your bigger multipliers. but I don't expect another crash. The only crash I do expect is a dollar crash, not the market at this point, because the dollar is already crashing and now assets are starting to rise because the dollar is already inflating. And I know the media sits there and tells you that inflation is going down or going up or whatever, but it's wrong. Okay. There's inflation and then there's deflation. We experienced last year deflation. Deflation was last year. Deflation was 114 of the US dollar, had high buying power. Now we're experiencing inflationary times. And now the dollar's at like 100 cents. It'll probably go down to 75 cents within the next 2 years, is my anticipation. But as the dollar is draining out, these assets are rising because it costs more dollars to pay for that asset. So if for those of you that are international with us, pay attention to your exchange rate. You know, if you're using a euro or the pound or whatever, pay attention to your exchange rate so that way you get the most out of your money. So that's another thing to consider. I do think that, you know, knowing picks and just knowing picks alone does not save you. You need to understand your currency system, where you're at, if you're inflationary or deflationary times. That way you understand what your exchange rates are versus just, oh, you know, I know a pick and I saw this influencer, he has 1 million people, this is going to be great. Like, no, guys, like you could have you know how many picks went to 95% losses last year? There were a lot of good picks that went 95% less. Okay. So that don't matter. What matters is understanding multiple asset classes. And that's why we're here to teach you. Okay. We want to bring that ideology or bring that awareness to you. So that way you can mitigate your risk at a better level. Okay. No, and what's funny, guys, is here's what's funny, and here's something I want everyone to take in for me is here at MYC, we do not promise results. We do not promise anything other than to educate you. Okay. There's so many people out there in the crypto sector that are brand new or whatever, and they want to promise results or they want to promise your portfolio going up. Guys, that is bad. Stop doing that. Do not do that. And don't associate yourself with people that do that or promise those things. That's wrong. Okay. That's wrong. What you need to focus on, and if you're going to provide a service in the sector, provide an education. Do not promise things, you know, just, hey, this is what I want to do, you know, or, you know, this is what I'm anticipating. This is what my opinion is, you know, whatever, because people don't understand how to own themselves. They need to own their own stuff. So, you know, you don't want to put yourself in a position where these people, for whatever reason, because they are used to watching the dumb shit around the sector, that you're responsible for their success. That's false. You're responsible for your success, and you're also responsible for your own losses. Okay, so again, you have to keep up to date on what you're doing. Okay, you have to keep up to date on what's happening. If you're buying something, you shouldn't wait for Ralph or Dion or whoever to tell you about what's going on. Your ass should be researching. Okay. So, you know, make sure that you're doing that and don't leave your destiny or don't leave your life in someone else's hands. You need to control yourself. Explore More says VeChain is definitely nice. I do like VeChain, and I thought it was a very good deal recently. I think the last deal I saw was like a penny and a half. Brandon says, I'm consistently blown away by what you know, Dion. Arc Block will bless us with 1,000x. You know, that's possible. It's certainly possible. Explore More says, got to merge physical items to digital world blockchain. DAG, yeah, absolutely. DLT, yeah. Walter says solo is a good pick, but you need to be diversified into other great picks like ABT, BLZ. Yeah, absolutely. PRQ. Kenneth says, don't forget Patriots first. Absolutely, sir. Eyes Open says Flare is a rug or be rugged with nothing but a tokenomics casino use case. You know, you know, it was funny because when we were on Twitter, I'm very active on Twitter. And I like to kind of bounce between OddApp and Twitter a lot, you know. But what's kind of funny is like right before this was like when Flare was like 50 cents or 40 cents, whatever. I was like, Flare rug party tomorrow. I hope some of you guys listen because I knew that was exactly what was going to happen. And what was funny is Hugo and his associates did exactly what I knew they were going to do. They were going to liquidate everybody before people had access to their tokens, which is what they did with what? What did they do it with? The IOUs. Those IOUs and crypto companies utilizing anything in any way, shape, or form as an IOU is bullshit. Bullshit. Bob Ross should be ashamed of himself for doing IOUs. Justin Sun should be ashamed of himself for doing IOUs for Pi token. Okay. Flare Hugo should be ashamed of himself for doing IOUs. Okay. Guys, we left an old system to come to this system. Why are we going to centralize picks? Why on earth are we buying IOUs? So guys, IOUs are terrible. And I don't know how many times I need to say that. They just needs to happen. Mark says ABT is the one coin that if it went to zero, I'd still get a bargain with all the tools it gives me. Yeah, absolutely. Walter says Larry Fink talked about tokenized assets is going to be massive in the coming years. I agree. That Knock Life says, looking good, Captain. Good to see you, brother. You either got a new camera or I got a new phone because the picture is crisp and clean. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I hope you did get a brand new phone. Obscure Warrior says, you need to sleep. Yeah, I try. What's funny is I don't sleep too much. It's been kind of crazy. We've been so busy. But for the most part, I'm pretty relaxed. Well, especially now. I mean, since that first wave up, that was kind of like, oh, perfect, it's over. Because now I'm swimming at 2-3x on some picks, and now I don't even really got to worry about shit, But again, guys, look, people were in fear today, and people were in fear 6 months ago, and we did the right thing. So that's the best part, I'm going to be collecting for the next 1.5 years, and then from there I should be done, and then after that, we'll see what happens 2025. I don't know about you guys, but I hate sitting there watching charts all day. I don't do that. See, TA is pointless or useless when you have years in mind. Walter says the next bull run will bring in $10 trillion. I agree. I definitely think so. I mean, a lot of people back then thought 300 billion was a lot, and from 300 billion, it went to 2T, or it went to 3T, and now we're looking at 1T. So 1T seems like a lot. Well, if you try to put together the same type of performance, I mean, who knows where we could go. All the decent companies that will survive the bear market will do well. Some will do better, like a low supply coin like ABT ArcBlock. Yeah, absolutely. Goober says, does BLZ have a staking? Yeah, they do have staking available. It's going to be available. They just got through integrating with Stargate, with Cosmos. So I do expect it to be on Kepler, but they do have a staking feature on Frontier Wallet. Legion says, if ABT hits Binance, I'm going to save my hair and make a comb over and proudly strut the streets with it. ABT will be $50 easy next bull run. It wouldn't doubt it, bro. I mean, you think about it, $50 is only 5 billion market cap. And think about it, if ArcBlock has superior technology better than DOT or Cosmos, okay, keep in mind, DOT Cosmos, you can only program or code in 2 languages. Cosmos is only running 10,000 TPS. ArcBlock is running 100,000 TPS, universal coding languages, and Web3 decentralized. Okay. Cosmos and DOT are not there yet. So, to have something like blockchain 3.0, a futuristic pick, and its direct competitors with old technology like DOT and Cosmos, you have to look at it at crashed prices. Their prices are at like 8 billion market cap or above or something like that. Okay. ArcBlock at 8 billion market cap, and that's a crash price. That's $80 on ArcBlock. Okay, so like, to understand what you got in front of you, it's kind of like having DOT or Cosmos before they became what they were or recognized for what they are. So, that's why I'm very excited about ArcBlock. It's the biggest banger I've seen. And what's funny is one of our boys, 82nd Airborne, and shout out to you, bro, if you watch this boost. I was talking to him today. He was just basically, no matter what water you put in front of somebody, some people are just not ever going to drink it. But you got to really think about where we're at, because to be in something like this before it's recognized is such a big opportunity. It really is. Walter, with your education, I see things completely different. I wouldn't invest in any project with over 500 million coin cap. I didn't. This time I'm going for it. I don't want to mess with these large caps anymore, unless it's decimalized. I did buy a large cap as Jazz Mine because it's decimals. Ace Killjoy says, Legions, as ABT hits, you can buy new hair. BK says, yo, Dion, I'm heavy in ABT. Would you consider P-Toy a good pick for a set and forget? Rural Black, I like Rural Black. I haven't looked at that one yet. I could look at it real quick. just to kind of give you a surface view, maybe. Dollar right now is at 101.93 on an uptrend. I'm kind of waiting for it to load, but it's not loading. Just cut. Yeah, I don't know. Let's keep rolling. I'll have to do it later. Fabian says, "Oh man, I'm late." Goober says, "Feels good." Fabian says, "Thoughts on EQ?" I like EQ. They just came out with 2 new games, 100 million coin cap on the XRPL. I like GameFi. I think GameFi will do good. Fancy Pants says, "So true. Web3, MySpace, add Robert, not Tom." Yeah, absolutely. Walter says, "I have a heavy bag of ABT and solo. I'm hoping to get wife changing money. Time to upgrade." Absolutely, sir. Ace Killjoy says, "I'm bald too, bro, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna get a Bosley for sure." Walter says, "Bob Ross has said solo will never leave XRPL. That's good. Perfect. That's all I need to hear." Nice show. LCX seems to be running its own course. Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll do well. First call on LCX back in the day was 2 cents. We rode it to about 40 something cents. I think all-time high was 42, but I just remember being out in the 30s somewhere. But I do think that LCX will break dollars this time around. I really do think so. I think the future of tokenization is guaranteed. I think that all stocks will be tokenized, and I think several companies will tokenize stocks. Explore More says, "Fucking greedy." Fabian says, "Casper's garbage." Walter says, "If ABD hits $1, bring a crab suit out again." Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'll do that. When ArcBlock breaks 100 million market cap, that's $1. I'll do a live stream in the crab suit for you guys again. Please get it done though. I would love to see it. Ace Killjoy says he's not lying. I'll talk to him every day. Join ODAP. Yeah, absolutely. Things are going to be so many XRP kids disappointed when they don't see $100 XRP price after the lawsuit. Yeah, absolutely. Looks like the top 100 holders of ABT need to be holding over 75K ABT. Yeah, absolutely. Crypto John says, "Good to see you, bro. Loved your last interview with Robert Mao. Are you still DCing or cashing up?" Yeah, absolutely. I've been DCing. I've been collecting. Personally, I'm waiting until March, April, more towards April, before I resume. Hope all is well. What's up, Crypto John? Yeah, so shout out to you, bro. I've been watching your stuff. So here's what I disagree with on this. So originally my forecast was, June would be the right time to really start hammering. Okay. But I forgot about something. So when we first got into solo way back in the day, okay, it was October of 2021. So we had 3 months. So October, November, December. Okay. And we've had 1 year of a bear market. So technically 1.3 months. Typically, bear markets last about a year and a half. But I feel like we're a lot closer than we think. And I might go Riddler on you a little bit here, but not really, but it's more mathematical. But we didn't experience the bear cycle the way other people did. Okay, they got annihilated in 2022 with Luna and Cosmos and all that. Okay, FTX, whatever. But during those times where everybody was getting annihilated, we were in solo for 3 months, that October, November, December. So those 3 months, I remember that everybody was experiencing crashes while we were going up, remember? And now that I think about it, I'm like, damn, so actually the bear market, and I've seen other media sources that also agree on this, that everyone felt that the bear cycle started October of 2021. So I was like, that's strange because I know the ISO thing is supposed to happen in March or something like that. That would be an additional 3 months from now. So that would be a total of 1.6 months. Or, yeah. So at that point, you're about that year and a half mark, and March seems to be a big deal for a lot of different companies. So just wanted to put that out there. Maybe and remember, I told you guys myself, I was like, this is way too early. This is earlier than I anticipated. But when I started thinking about that moment in time, I was like, damn, actually, we just didn't experience the bear market as fast as everybody else did because everybody was going to zero around that time. But now that I think about it, we actually been through 1.3 months, and then for March, that's another 3 months. So that's a year and a half. So I wouldn't be, you know, I mean, I do think that you're right though, that March, April area, but I did want to tell you that because I was thinking June. I was thinking like probably like that May, June area would probably be the best. But ever since I started thinking about that moment in time, I was like, damn, maybe actually we could be 3 months earlier. So we'll see. But again, look, again, we're already in a bull cycle. Okay. Again, we're already in a bull cycle. So you got to think about it. We went to a bottom and now, the bull cycles, they last over a course of a couple of years or whatever. But from the bottom up, you don't start seeing the media, declaring it's a bull cycle until like the tail end of it, which will probably be like late 2025. But they're not gonna know. So that the crowds of today are blessed. The crowds of 2025 coming in, they're gonna have to go through that process. The process that a lot of you went through. I mean, whoever is watching this video that barely got into crypto 2022, that process is what people are going to go through coming in probably like 2026, 2025 late, that's probably what they're going to go through. But again, like it's all it's a cycle process. Not saying it happens like, rhythmatically or, exact pattern, but you get the point. Um, Never bought a single XRP coin. I mean, look at the market cap, 100B. Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, what's the point? I mean, your baby money ain't gonna do nothing there. Exactly. You have to look for unsaturated territory. Go to things that aren't popular today. What's gonna lead the bull cycle, guys, is Web3, DID, and GameFi. That's it. Leave it there. ABT will moonshot, better load up, boys. Yeah, absolutely. ABT arc block is going to be explosive. I mean, I don't think for a lot of you guys that haven't experienced MYC or experienced anything like similar to calls like this, like I mean, there were a bunch of people that were losing their mind because they saw 1x in a bear market. So, but again, guys, look, join OddApp. Would love to have you guys. I haven't received a verification email on OddApp. Make sure that you don't have your VPN on. VPN is allowed, but once you're inside of it, okay? Once you have to turn it off and before you log into it. But once you're logged in, you can turn it off. But for verification emails, just make sure your VPN is off, but also make sure that there's nothing blocking it. Check your spam folder. You could message me on Twitter or anywhere that you find me. I'm on Instagram as well, MYCNetwork.io. But the customer service guys is me, by the way, so we don't have robots, I service our people. So if you have issues, just communicate with me and I'll try to help you troubleshoot. But you should receive a verification email. Just make sure you check the spam folder. Make sure that you don't have any email settings turned on or turned off. There's no bug there. Like, there were a couple people that think that there's bugs. Like, guys, we're already past the bug part. OddApp is complete now, just so you guys know. So if you're experiencing issues, there's 95% chance it's not a bug and it's actually user-based issue. So just communicate with me and I'll try to troubleshoot you out. But we're pretty much 100% running on OddApp now. 5150 Trading says ABT is so early. Robert is the GOAT. Yeah, I believe so, man. He's ex-Microsoft Elite, And a lot of people don't get this, guys, but the bull cycle is starting because a lot of people need jobs. And then tech sector just got through firing so many people. Where do you think those guys are going to go? A lot of these Microsoft engineers, a lot of these big time, highly paid executives or a lot of these talented developers just got fired from all these big companies. They're coming to crypto and they're going to be building. So like, I know the idealism is that we're in a bear market, yeah, we are, but a bear market is really just the beginning of a bull cycle. Okay. So think of it like that. So now you have Bitcoin going up, you have new crowds coming in, but also now you have there's a big demand right now for developers. It's actually hard to find developers or people that actually want to build. Okay. Not just people that just invest, but people that want to build like us, So we have all these people coming from these big companies that have talent that are now going to be coming to that demand for the sector. So don't underestimate where we are. The recession sounds like bad news, but it's not bad news. We needed those people. We need all those developers in the crypto sector building, because they weren't going to do anything working for these corporations. They needed to come here. So that was good news. When I saw all the layoffs happening in the tech sector, I was like, thank God, we need these people. Like, Yeah, perfect. You guys are going to get fired and you come here and you build and you make more money. Uh, uh, PSI, I haven't received a verification email. Yeah, I got that part. The only people that have to buy core are those who sold it or those who got in. Yeah, absolutely. If you got it for airdrop, no problem. XRP new all-time high, top 150 probably. Ripple rugs monthly. Yes, they do. A lot of XRP holders don't get that. Brad Garlinghouse has repeatedly let people know, including on his website, that he divests his tokens for revenue. Sam says, but Dion, LCX and ABT, do you might see a pullback for both? I mean, of course, you're going to see some pullbacks, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we already bought in at the low. So, I mean, that's what I'm telling you guys. Like, don't care about today's performance. You buy, shut up, and let time appreciate the asset. Who cares what crowd or what influencer or what whoever pumped the coin today? It doesn't matter because it's about time appreciating the asset and letting the crowds of 2024 and 2025 and 2026 come in. Okay. So don't, who cares what happens today? I'm not here to take profits on anyone that's here today. I'm here to take profits on the people that are here in 2-3 years, because by the time that happens, there's going to be swarms of people in the sector. So that's the process. That's why they tell you guys, get in early, get in early. Well, because you need to buy the bottoms. Clearly, investing, unfortunately, guys, is business. You buy things cheap and you sell it for more money, for a margin. That's the way it works. Unfortunately, I know it's evil, but that's the beast. ABT has 186 million max supply, full of utility, plenty of time. Please stay low for a while. Yeah, I hope so. Shout out to Crypto John and MYC. Yeah, absolutely. XRP, the standard. Both ABT, LCX, ALBT need to pull back, need to DCA. Yeah, absolutely. Fancy Pants says, I like that. Research the cons first, then see if the pros oversee the cons. Yeah, absolutely. Solo NFT fees were way too high. I'm still waiting on Michael Jordan. Crypto John says, thanks, guys. By the way, Dion, you convinced me on your perspective with multipliers and relations with Bitcoin. I moved it to Ethereum. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really bullish on it. More multipliers there. Yeah, absolutely. You know, ETH will definitely have more multipliers. But again, here's another thing, though. If your portfolio is worth less than 10 grand or 20,000 or whatever, you know, do you really want to be saturating your capital in ETH? See what I'm saying? Because what's going to happen is, like, if you're investing in the altcoins or the other ones, right? The strategy right now typically is everyone wants to buy Bitcoin and ETH, right? Because they're the most popular, you know, whatever. But what happens is as those go up, they bleed out into the alts. So you want to be where everyone is not, you know, although ETH is very relatively low, you know, you still got to take a look at the price and say, all right, if I only got 10 grand, you know, or I only got 20,000, and this is going to take up 10% or, you know, 5% of my portfolio just to buy one ETH. See what I'm saying? I could get better multipliers somewhere else, you know? So it just depends on the way you see things. So, you know, I do think, you know, the store value thing, like, you know, when you're buying other stuff, you know, you could do it that way too. It just depends on your strategy, but still what you're saying is perfect. Eyes Open says there was 0 fees on NFT solo burns. Yep. Crypto John, maybe in the future I'll rebuy Bitcoin, but for now, yeah, absolutely. There's no point in buying Bitcoin. I mean, there's no multipliers there. A lot of people try to sit there and they say, "Whoa, the reason why you buy Bitcoin is because Satoshis will be worth $1 each," you know, and that's how you're going to look at your money. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at my multipliers. I am completely okay with that. I'm not going to sit here and hope to God that Satoshis are going to be like, you know, $1 worth. Because let's say even if they were, okay, that means that whatever other positions I had are probably like astronomical. So no matter what you do when it comes to multipliers, you're better off other places. Redbeard says my understanding in the NFT project build on the no, don't worry about that. That's just one project, you know, or NFTs or whatever. There's other stuff you could do. And keep in mind too, you know, look, So every ecosystem is going to have multiple NFT projects. Every ecosystem is going to have like multiple coins, and that's what creates a booming ecosystem. So it doesn't matter what one particular company. If one particular company thinks it's too expensive, there might be another company that doesn't. Like all you're watching is a market form. You're fine. That's not bearish to me. That's just process. You're going to see people come and go in different ecosystems, and unfortunately, migrations are very common. However, I will say that just because something is common does not mean it's right. I don't like migrations. If an admin even whispers that he's thinking about that, I'm fucking gone. Absolutely gone. Like I had a see. Never mind. Uh, Ba- um, Backtrain says multipliers is key. Thanks, Dion. I see the same. Bitcoin has it. Yeah, it's way too high. Yeah. Ruel Black in the house. We're gonna actually be doing an interview with Ruel Black today and Byte Storage. So that'll be cool. That would be badass. What would be cool is if we had a panel between me, Ruel Black, and Crypto John at the same time. That would be cool. We should start doing panels like that. I like Ruel Black for that. I'm not good at it, but Ruel Black is very good at doing these panels. So we should do something like that and have like a group discussion. Um, Crypto John, see, this is what I love about MYC. Like we bring so many different types of people, but it's like niche. It's kind of what's funny is like I was listening to Jack Dorsey the other day, right? So when Jack Dorsey was talking, and he was saying that apps are way better when they're niche and smaller, like when they're only worth like 100,000 users or less or something like that. And he goes, that's when the apps were fun because you didn't need to worry about like a billion users. You have a billion users, you have to worry about like this country's bullshit and this country's bullshit, like, and it's very similar for OddApp. OddApp, it's very niche. There's only so many people in it and it's special, that's what creates a niche. But that's what I like about MYC in general, or like our community of people, because we have different types. Like we have engineers, we have different developers, we have different admins, we have investors. We have different players that like different things, or have different perspectives on different strategies or different developments. Like I have a lot of people within the community that don't care about the coins of companies. They only care about using the service. Like there's just different types of people, guys. Like not everyone in crypto, especially here at MYC, is here to just listen to what prices will do. Some people actually want to know like what product is this, because like sometimes we'll have an admin, or we'll have a developer or a different company that is within our community that needs a particular service or a product, and we know this person does this, or that's the way that's what the sector should be, in my opinion. Not just glamorization or sensationalism. Sensationalism and glamorization is more of a media thing. We're not a media thing. We're a community, so we want to make sure that we have more of an intimate relationship between peer to peer, and then also build, however we need to build based on whatever perspective we're working on, whether it's like admin, developer, investor, whatever. But I like how you guys are just talking. But yeah, we should set up a panel. Me, Crypto John, Ruel Black would be cool. That'd be nice. Um, uh, Crypto John says, appreciate you. I saw your interview together. Solid stuff. Absolutely. Eyes open. Again, there weren't fees on solo. Yeah, I don't think there is fees. I think it's still cheap. I'm not concerned about that, to be honest. Julian says, scooping up any ABT sub $1 is a win. Yeah, absolutely. Can we arbitrage between Coinbase and BitTrue? I've seen people try, but the problem is finding the buyer. The buyer, because you could you could try to sell something, but there needs to be a buyer on the other end. That's the problem. If the buyer knows that they could get it for a cheaper price somewhere else, where are they going to pay you? Just depends. Not to say it's not impossible. But yeah, on BitTrue, Arc Block is 22 cents and Coinbase is 16 cents. Yeah. Ruel Black, my bad, bro. I meant let's go. Dion and MYC odd app. Yeah, absolutely. Goober says, hell yeah, on the crab suit. Oh, excuse me. Veen says, my wife is gone. Don't forget. Absolutely. Good job, sir. Seller and buy ABT. Let me see. See, I miss you guys. I miss you guys so much, um, I feel like I don't know anything about her disappearance. Julian says, facts, we were safe in solo while the sky was falling. I did, however, rug my solo bag for ABT. Yeah, why not? Can't catch them all, correct? I still DCA into the market. My bags are ready. I'm not afraid. I'm not losing this bull cycle. Yeah. Uh, Walter says, do you believe ABT will be the most legendary pick for you? Honestly, I think it's the most behemoth call that we've found so far. It goes to $80. You'll make a lot of your followers millionaires. You never know, man. It's a 8 billion. $80 is only 8 billion market cap. Okay. So like if you take a look at Atom, you take a look at Cosmos. Okay. You have ArcBlock that's superseding in technology. This is 3.0 technology. It has better programmability and interoperability than both Cosmos and Dot. You can also build in any language. Okay. You have better TPS, you have better everything. So this is not my opinion. This is stats. You look at the stats, ArcBlock has better tech than Atom and Dot. Okay. So if those guys got to the market caps that they did, we're talking about 8 billion to about 15 billion plus. Okay. If they got to that, even after a crash, there's still 8 billion market cap. That's forever money for those that were there under $1, right? Okay. We're on ArcBlock now. Okay. Don't forget, guys, and here's another thing. I know I've talked shit on Cosmos for a lot of the bullshit projects on there, but the bullshit projects do not mean that Cosmos is a bad company. Okay. The projects that were built on those were bullshit, but Cosmos as a layer is still, I still support them. I don't forget I called Cosmos at 298 back in the day and Dot at about $4. Okay. So don't forget those. But again, I mean, is the multipliers there for me that are going to merit me going in? No, I'm not going to buy Atom or Dot. The multipliers aren't there for me, so I'm not going to buy it. So now I'm on ArcBlock. ArcBlock, let's say if it gets to these levels, I mean, guys, that's going to be huge. 8 billion market cap is $80 on ArcBlock. That's crazy. 100 million, guys, 500 million market cap is $5 on ArcBlock. This is not going to be a cheap token. It's not going to be cheap. And for the technology that it's a foundational layer for Web3. So you're looking at Cosmos or Dot before its ecosystem got built out. So that's why I'm like, yo, it's unsaturated. It's barely being built on. The platform is complete. You have Web3, blockchain 3.0 right here. So we're at the beginning stages of its expansion and its growth, and we're going to grow with the company. See, that's why I'm not going to go to Cosmos or Dot because it's already built out. The expansion is already there. Why am I going to go there for growth if everything's already been fished out? That's why I moved over. Especially if you're in the tech industry, Bitcoin was 1.0 programmability. ETH 2.0 smart contracts, a different form of programmability. Now you have ArcBlock, you have a 3.0 programmability. So, you have to take a look at these three different natures and say, oh my God, I need to be here. You don't want to, you have to look at these things as new tech, new opportunity, and continue growing to the next market, or you can continue buying tops. If you guys like buying tops, absolutely no problem. For me, I'm more of a bottoms guy. If I see nice juicy bottoms, I'm 100% in and I'm not pulling out. Don't forget. And if anyone asks, tell them a hot dog sent me. Bro, at this stage, ABT at 16 million market cap, meaning is still freaking low cap. Dude, I mean, think about it. All right. So for those of you that were buying at 9 and 10 million market cap, okay, 30 million market cap is a 3x. 50 million market cap is a 5x, And so like this is how parabolic and explode. Like, guys, this is like the most nuclear pick I've ever found in my life. Ever. Okay. Solo, when we first got into it, guys, that was the old one, but Solo had 400 million coin cap, okay, total. But the only reason why it scaled was because 200 million were locked, okay? Now we have something that's so futuristic and at the verge of expansion, and it's 186 million total fixed supply. What do you think is going to happen? Okay. Don't think about what happens today. Don't think about the crowds of today. Okay. Think about what's going to happen with this thing with the crowds of tomorrow. Okay. Imagine the growth that we're experiencing now at this rate for 2 years. It is unbelievably over. That's all I know. Unbelievably over. Oh my God. Uh, Ruel Black says, I would be down for a panel with John. Likewise, I got to learn how to screen share. Crypto John, this is what I'm the same way. Ruel Black will take care of everything. He sends you the link, and that's it. You click the link, and we're there. Done. That's it. Ruel Black is really good at those panels. I'm terrible at that stuff. I'm actually very bad at tech. Believe it or not. Like I know a lot, but like when it comes to doing things, like that's the tough part, you know. That's why I have a team of developers. So I got a different team. Like I have the ideas, I have the commitment, the motivation, the dedication to work hard, to get things done, whatever. But when it comes to the technical stuff, building stuff like that, that's what I need my dev team for. My developers or my people, you know, you guys are what make the dream work. You know, I can't do this by myself. Never. Um, um, ABT going to be big with DID? Yeah, absolutely. 110K ABT. I'm ready to go. Absolutely. Walter says I'm eating these bottoms like groceries and I'm still hungry. Absolutely, sir. Ruel Black says Dion. I agree. Juicy bottoms are awesome. Don't forget Robo Cheeks are coming 2023. Whole lot of rap songs about juicy bottoms. Yeah, you know, I'll be really honest with you guys. You know, I'm a very big fan of juicy bottoms. There's no doubts about it. But you know, guys, Portal Dream says that's how you get pink eye. You know, but yeah, you know, but guys, look, I love you guys. I appreciate your support, you know, and I love getting on with you guys. I try to give you guys the longest live streams I could get you because I know that when I get busy, I just get busy. But we do have another interview today with Ruel Black and Byte Storage, so I'll be excited to do that. And then I just saw the agreement between Crypto John and Ruel Black, so we'll get on a panel with them, and that'll be a nice panel between all three of us to have. It would be really cool to kind of talk about a variety of different things with you guys and kind of just give you guys our opinion. But you know, that's how you get alimony. I think it's 6:30 Mountain Time, so 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. But guys, look, I appreciate your support, guys. You know, I wish everyone to win. I want everybody to win. Unfortunately, not everyone is going to make it, but again, there's always a select few that really harp on what you have today, and you have a futuristic vision. And I could see a lot of you guys are going to do well. A lot of you guys, I'm excited about. You guys showed me your portfolios, or you guys show me different entry points, stuff like that. How does it feel to be 2-3x above your entry and now you're coasting? Zero risk. How does it feel? Guys, you're going to experience that. I mean, you guys are experiencing it on a small level for now because you let time appreciate the asset. But imagine when you're looking at 10, 20, 50x, 100x, 150x, and the market is still going. Imagine. So, you know, again, guys, look, another thing about doing these things also to protect your multipliers is you can't get taxed on something you didn't realize. And we're at the very beginning of a new market. So there's no point to get realized right now, right? So, you know, don't forget about that. If ABT hits 80 bucks, someone better hold me because I may crumble. Yeah, you know, there will be many pregnancies. There's no doubts about it. I'm not pulling out of anybody. But guys, look, I appreciate you guys a lot. Please join ODAP if you support us, guys. You know, join ODAP. It is, I mean, besides, you know, me being there. Okay, don't forget this is highly secure communications. It has military grade encryption. There's no screenshots. It's AES 256 encryption. That's military grade. Nobody is going to mess around there. You know, that is our platform. Okay. If you mess up on ODAP, you're gone forever. Okay. So when you go on ODAP, we have a lot of fun there. We talk about a lot of different things, and it is private, it's secure, and you know, it's just a great place to be. You know, you're not going to be, you know, censored the same way that you would be censored at other places. Okay. So you know, it's just definitely a better place to be than what we've experienced. There's also no screenshots allowed on ODAP or whatever, but it's 23 USD a month. It's full access for that, and then you know, of course, you'll be talking to me there every day. I'm there every day. So Crypto John says, I also think Jasmine is going to be a good one to pair with ArcBlock. Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. I have a good feeling about it. No, absolutely. I mean, call was 0.0029 on it, and now I think it did a 1x just recently to 0.0060. I think it retraced to, I think it was like 0.005 now or something like that. However, think about it. To get it for the decimals, imagine a couple years when it's trading at 10 or 5 cents or whatever the case, that's still a wild amount of multipliers. I mean, if you have a million of those coins and it goes to 15 cents, 25 cents, it's a lot of money, guys. You have to really understand the opportunities. I do like Math. Explore More says, what do you think about Math? I love Math Token. I think that's a great company. And here's the thing. I don't know about any partnerships on it. You know, I'm pretty sure I probably ran over that part of the research. I've only researched that company a couple times, but I liked what I saw. The cap was good, the circulation was good, and they're selling hardware products. They're selling ledger-like products, but for Math Token. So that's a business model. They have a product to sell. They have revenue production, and it doesn't have anything to do with the liquidation of their tokens. It has everything to do with the product that they're selling. So they're selling a hardware device. So guys, Math Token, I like Math Token. I think that is awesome. And you know, you hear the enthusiasm, and the reason why you hear the enthusiasm is not because everybody's talking about it. It's not because you know, it's a low cap. It's not because of anything other than the fact that it has a real business model. They have a real product. They're manufacturing a product. That's a company. So it had nothing to do with them being partnered with this brand or that brand or that brand. That's the way you guys need to think. You need to look at these companies. What's the business model? What's being sold? Okay, guys, this is investing, and investing has a lot to do with capitalism, does it not? So products and services cannot be free. Don't think like that. You're in crypto to make money. Where's that money coming from? It needs to be made. So these companies need to make money. You can have a good idea and not make money. You can have a good idea, a good company, a good brand, and not make no money. And that company will be doomed to fail. You can have a perfect idea and it just fails. Okay. It needs to be a real business model. So pay attention to that. But Jasmine is definitely very bullish to me. You know, the government is backing it. You have VC, you have institutions, you have everything. They're so confident in Jasmine that Jasmine, the company, produced a time log of where their price expectations are. That's bullish. That's very bullish. And that's going to be Japan's Bitcoin. And don't underestimate Japan, because Japan has a dying currency already. So with Japan having a dying currency already, and they have a Japanese fully backed or government backed currency coming, don't underestimate that opportunity, because you're going to think back to these days where you saw Jasmine for decimals, and you're going to see it one day where it's selling for two digit pennies or more, and you're going to be like, damn, oh man, I remember I could have bought this for decimals. You know who thinks like this today? You know who remembers this? The people that didn't buy HBAR and Cardano and VeChain for decimals back in the day. Jasmine is going to be another one of those companies that you could have bought for decimals and you didn't do it and you waited. And then one day you're going to see it at 25, 30 cents. And you're going to be like, what the hell? So don't forget about Jasmine. Even a small amount of capital will give you a good position in something like that if it's a large cap in the decimals. Walter says, if ABT hits $50, I'm taking a shit right on my boss's desk. Absolutely, sir. Jasmine are my picks. I'm up in the air about AI. I don't like AI picks, to be honest with you. I don't really like AGIX. There was a quick little opportunity there. I do like the company. I've interviewed with Ben before, or I went on a Zoom with him before. He's a cool guy. But I just don't really see the multipliers that I want out of it based on where it's at. I do like Fetch.ai. I like that as well. But I just don't, for the AI sector, I just don't see anything that's like the right entry for me to be like, oh, this is a perfect deal. You know, I'm not going to buy these. I'm not going to buy AGIX or Fetch.ai. There's another one I forgot off the top of my head. But do you think we will get regulations this year? No, and I don't care, because regulations has nothing to do with scalability. I'm going to repeat that again. Scalability has zero to do with regulations, guys. How many of you that have been with us have retired, have made millions, that have done wild things, guys? You guys have seen the light. Did we get regulations? No. We just knew the tokenomics, the circulations. We knew all the do's and the don'ts. We knew all the signs, the warning signs. There were all these different things that, you know, equaled up to us being successful. Okay. So don't let regulations, you know, get you so worked up as to that's what's going to take your success. That's false. Regulations is not going to make you succeed or fail. It has nothing to do with anything. It has everything to do with the scalability of the coin. Okay. Um, uh, Let me see. One sec. My internet was acting crazy when I was trying to look up that other one that somebody mentioned. I forgot. Uh, okay, so let's use this as a good example. So Metis, right? So Metis is, this is not a good opportunity to me. Half of the supply is in circulation, so they've already been dumping at a very high price valuation. As a 10 million coin cap, and again, like this goes back to that idealism of trying to get the lowest cap possible and thinking that this is going to be the best pick because of its cap. And I strongly disagree with that because the cap is too small and it's going to take a lot more capital than you think. So just because a coin has a very, very small cap does not mean it's going to scale very fast. It actually means the opposite. The smaller you go, the more capital it takes in saturation for each coin to create compression. So for instance, like QNT is a good example. Like, yeah, QNT, it went up after a while. This could go up after a while, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of risk, and it saturates a lot of your capital for very low multipliers, so especially at a $30 entry, this is not a good pick for me. I didn't get to look at the other one. I forgot what the name was, but guys, look, I appreciate your support. Catch me on OddApp. I will review more of your picks. A lot of you guys reach out to me after every video. So if you guys have other picks that you want to go through, go to OddApp, let me know about it, and we'll take a look at it, and then we'll go from there. But again, guys, you want to support me, you want to support MYC, join OddApp. It's on your Android phone or on your Apple phones. Go to the App Store, download it, full access. It's 23 USD a month. It's a one-stop shop. You don't need to sign up to OnlyFans or Patreon or whatever all these other spots are. It's just a one-stop place, okay? Walder, do I like Morpheus Network? Yes, Morpheus is a banger. Don't forget about Morpheus. That's a good one. I haven't looked at the entry. I looked at it the other day, and I want some, but the problem is like it hasn't been low enough for me to really like it. But I think at this point, let me just take a look. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be scalability. But I'm way too cheap. I'm very greedy when it comes to my entry, and the entry is killing it for me right now. $1.50 is like at the borderline. Okay. I thought the dollar or less would have been the best entry, but at this entry point, it's kind of like, eh. But I do see multipliers happening to it, and I do like the company, just so you know. But guys, look, I will catch you on the next one. If you're wondering what I like or what I'm doing, again, we all do different things, but what I've been stacking heavy is ABT. That's my biggest banger. PRQ, second biggest banger. BLZ, third biggest banger. I like LCX. I like Jasmine. Dragon Chain is still something I have on radar. I do have a little bit of Dragon Chain, but not a lot, But again, these are set and forgets. I'm going to have 5 set and forgets and then 3 positions I'm going to stack heavy. My biggest position is Arc Block ABT. I know that's going to be the biggest banger the sector has ever seen. That's Web3 infrastructure layer. So, guys, whether you think so today or tomorrow or whenever you realize it, you're going to be using Arc Block. There's no doubts about it, okay? They are DID compliant, one of the only companies that have been working with W3C and CERN for the past couple decades. So I would take a look at Robert Mount, take a look at the company, and do research further than just arcblock.io, okay? I really like it, but I am bullish on a lot of the different picks, guys. I mean, we talk about over 100 picks, stocks, crypto, precious metals, so many different things, guys. So, again, try to be yourselves, don't just, listen to what I'm doing, everyone has a different strategy. Maybe someone has a better strategy than me one day, you never know. But again, my favorites, ABT, PRQ, BLZ, those are my favorite because Web3, DID, and GameFi, those are my focuses. So I will catch you guys on the next one, and I will see you on OddApp.